Welcome to Slayerfest 98. I'm Ian Carlos Crawford.
I'm Kimberly Ann Southwick.
And I'm Mae Shults, and we're here to talk about The Magicians, Season 2, Episode 12, episode Ramifications. But we have a guest. He is one of the hosts of the podcast We Read Movies, which riffs movies from a gay perspective. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. I'm Chris Haigy. I reached out to Ian specifically to ask if I could be on a Magicians episode because I just think this show is a lot of fun.
It is.
It makes me happy when other people love it because I feel like it was hard for me to assemble the team that I have to find people that had watched it or wanted to watch it. Chris, how did you get into the show? I forgot to tell you this is something you had to tell us, but how did you get into the show?
I actually already had a speech prepared, so you're totally fine. So I started watching it because my former boyfriend was watching it, and I just sort of caught clips for a while. And when you're watching it disconnected from everything, it's very easy to go like, this is kind of a stupid show. And then finally, I sat down one day and I watched a full episode and I was like, oh no, this is actually fun, stupid. This is camp a little bit. So yeah.
Earlier, my mom, when I was rewatching this episode for this podcast, was like, I've seen this show before. And I was like, yeah. She's like, I have no idea what's going on though. And I was like, that's about right, Mom. So I feel like she'd agree.
I literally just watched. I couldn't even remember when this started, this episode. I was like, wait, what?
It's because the transition is, they just show up at Mayakovsky's place and they're like, hey, we've got Alice's shade. We're going to fix her now. And you're like, oh, I guess that was a plan?
Right. Because, they don't mention that they're going to go to him. I didn't quite understand why they're like, well, if you want help, we'll go to Dean Fogg. That felt like he would have been the first person they see because Mayakovsky, both are grumpy old men, but Fogg is a grumpy old man who cares.
Who helps people. Yeah.
Was it in the previous episode where Penny says something like, have you noticed Fogg isn't actually that helpful?
And he isn't, but he definitely cares more than Mayakovsky does.
Mm-hmm. He gives them clues every now and then.
Yeah.
He's a Dumbledore that way.
Yeah. That fully threw me off. I was like, wait, did I? And this is the third time this season where I've been like, oh, I think I skipped an episode by accident. And then it's like, no, you haven't. We just sped through. The thing I've noticed, especially this season, they do, is sometimes we speed through things so fast. And then other times we're step by step by step. I was thinking about how sometimes it feels like they had the plan all along. In this, we go back to the clock in the first episode. I did not even remember that. But it is a beat in that episode. It's a quick second beat, but he does linger looking at the clock.
Oh, and we talked about it when we covered season 1. We were like, that clock's going to be important. Remember it, dear listeners.
So also, Chris, I don't know if I told you we do spoiler free. I think I did tell you.
Oh, no, but that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
We don't talk about we'll hint at what's coming, but not say it. I forgot about that. And I love the idea of tying it back together, but sometimes I do feel like they're just what do we got that we could use? We haven't used the clock we had him look at in the first episode. Let's use the clock.
That's a technique though, that novelists will share with each other. If you get stuck writing something, you turn back a third of the way of what you've done and you reread what you wrote in there. I had a guest novelist draw a clock. How apropos on the board to one of my classes and was like, divide what you have into 3 and then divide your whole novel into 3 and everything should kind of be coming up at a certain time. When he said it, it made more sense. But yeah, you kind of look back when you don't know what to do and you see, well, what have I already done?
I think J.J. Abrams on Lost said that a lot of the time they would just or maybe it was one of his showrunners, I don't remember, but a lot of the times they would just add a detail in that was fun, and then if they got stuck on something plot wise, they'd just bring that back.
Well,
because you can.
Think that goes to because he spent so much time with Lost saying, no, we always had it planned out. And by the end, it was very clear they did not,
yes.
Which is fine. And I love that ending, but I just hate that the whole time they're like, no, we're built. And they were not building to that. Adam Sass and I talked about this in our 25th anniversary episode for Restless for the Patreon, how like what you said, Kim, that is a writing technique, and that is a perfectly fine writing technique to use. Like, that makes sense. Doesn't have to be, we planned it out. We planted the seed. We knew we were doing 3 seasons later. Doesn't have to be like that. It's just sometimes with this, because like Buffy did that with Restless, right? There's a bunch of shit in that dream that I have no doubt that they put in there, and we're like, maybe we'll get back to this. Maybe we won't. And some of it tied, like in Tabula Rasa, when we see the shark on land and Spike is wearing the outfit he wore in the dream. That is the thing you said, Kim. That is them being like, what could we use that's fun? Oh, let's use the stuff from season 4's dream episode. And again, I think that's like, I'm not saying that's bad storytelling, but sometimes with the magicians, it's so fast that I wish it didn't feel like this episode is crowded.
Yes.
And there was so many things happening that I was losing track while watching it. Like, I kind of forgot about Sylvia and Penny so many times in this episode. I didn't remember. Elliot wraps up really quickly knowing why he was pushed out. We end the last episode not really knowing. It's just like a blip and he's gone and he's like not in Fillory.
Yeah, I guess he doesn't do any work to get to that point.
Yeah.
He just assumes it.
Yeah, and so like, but I mean, he's correct. We know he's correct, but it's just like weird that it's like, well, how did he know that? Like, I just wanted to like a little bit more. I don't know. It just felt like that was a surprising ending, and then we just are like, yeah, this is why.
Honestly, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I feel like because he knows that he's tied to Fillory and he cannot leave, all of a sudden being gone from it, he suddenly realized, oh, I've been banished. That's the only way I could be out of Fillory, not in my now dead doppelbanger.
Yeah, I guess it's like, but he understood that Ember was the one that, I don't know. I wouldn't have assumed it was like
No,
Ember.
I don't think he knew that Ember was the one who did it until
He said Ember did it.
He does. He says Ember did it.
At the beginning of
when he's talking to
That's
Quentin.
just their guess.
So I don't think that they actually. I think that from a plot perspective, the story would work just as well if Elliot has no idea why he got banished.
Yeah.
And only later do we find out that Ember did it.
Yeah, like we like definitively. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of that, and like I also was a little confused when in like 2 beats later we explain it, but we're like. They go to see Mayakovsky. That's the opening of the episode. And we breeze through. Like, I was like, wait a minute. Because Julia says to Quentin, like, this is probably the last time I'll ever have my shade. And I was like, what? She doesn't have a shade. That was the whole point of the last episode. They took Alice's. And then I was like, wait, where the hell is Alice's shade? And then he pulls it out of her. And I was like, oh.
I feel like they glossed over this. The explanation that came to my mind for that was that, like, in order to take a shade out of the underworld, it has to be inside of somebody. So that, like, that's why they could only take one of those 2 shades, because she had to be able to put it inside of her. But they never say that in the episode,
right?
And
that's just me doing work for the show.
We see them in the elevator together. So I wish there had been just like maybe when baby Alice's shade steps in, she like
merges inside of her or something.
Yeah, and I think the whole thing is that happens as they're going back up to the real world. I feel like this is an example of the show, a rare example of the show, trying to do too much at once and having to skip over certain details and expecting the audience to fill it in. Because this show, I think, very much believes that its audience is smart. And by and large, that is true. And that's one of those places where it's like, okay, yeah, you can be smart. You can figure that out. And it would have been nice to even have a line indicating that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, having to have Julia be like, this is the last time I'll have a shade because I've been storing Alice's inside of me since we came out of the underworld, feels like it would be kind of rote.
But even there's a moment in the last episode where Julia looks at her shade and she's like, "Can we take both of you or something?" And the shade goes, "No." If there was just a way for little Julia shade to say no, because the only way for me to come out is inside of you, for example. And there's not room for both of us inside of you.
Even if Mayakovsky had been like, "Well, where's the shade?"
Mm.
There's
we
a
stuck it
moment
out
when
in Julia.
Yeah, there you
when
go.
Quentin says we've got something that we've never had before, it's Alice's shade. He's opening up his backpack, and I thought that she was going to be inside the backpack for some reason.
That would have been great if she just kind of like crawled out.
Just like a Mary's Poppins bag. It's just this little child.
There's a child in here? Tiny Alice is so cute, though, and so well cast.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
Agree.
think Tiny Alice and Tiny Julia are very cute.
Mhm.
And again, like I feel like it wouldn't have bothered me so much, but then we breeze through like, well, Alice is back. Like the credits haven't even rolled yet, and it's like, well, we solved that plot. Like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that's why all of it being so expedited when it was a whole episode to get that shade.
Mhm.
And we expedite the like resolution of that. I would have maybe a little bit lingering or a thing that the show does often. And again, it barely matters the explanation, but sometimes sometimes there's too much of this can never be done, and then they do it in like 5 seconds.
Yes.
And
it's never been done before. I do know how to do it.
I kind of like that, though, because it shows how innovative and creative all of the characters are. I know it sounds like I'm hardcore defending the show, and I guess I am, but I really do enjoy that. I enjoy that it's like, yeah, this is a really smart group of individuals. Even if they make really stupid decisions sometimes, they also are really good at figuring things out together. And
I feel like there's always a
that's
good
what makes them
reason.
special.
Like it's a particular person that, so for instance, with them reuniting the shade with the Niffin, it's like, well, they need all that power, and the guy with the power is Mae Shults, back to why they went to him and not Dean Fogg. They had to, because Dean Fogg would have said no, and then they would have had to go to Mae Shults anyway, and they don't know he's got the batteries until Julia sees them. But literally, he's the only one, and the only reason they can do it is that, you know, he made Penny shave that table or whatever in episode 4.
Tie all those knots.
Yeah. So, like, I feel like it's not just that they come up, it's not like, I feel like Dragon Ball Z, where it's like, and now we've got Super D-Duper Goku. It's not like the same person just powering up every single time. And you're like, how many Super D-Duper D-Dupers can we add in front of Goku's name? It's more like, we just have the right person. And like, kind of like Mae was saying, like that they are smart, but it's also like one person doesn't know everything except Alice, honestly.
Yeah.
Right.
I will say, in this scene, especially when they are trying to talk Mayakovsky into doing this with them, assertive Quentin is so attractive. It's like the only time that I look at him, and instead of feeling like him, I'm like, oh, I'd make out with you and maybe bone you.
Mae, because you will not be surprised to hear that Ian agrees with you. Yes, because often I'm like, Quentin's me, but this time I was like, ooh, Quentin's hot. Like,
yeah, exactly. He does it again later. He does it again later in the episode too. And I looked to my roommate Maeve and I went, is he really hot right now, or is it just me? And she laughed at me, of course.
And especially Mayakovsky, too, who I would imagine is a little intimidating to like deal with because he's very angry and grumpy. I feel like
I'm
that
just
makes
Russian, which is just always scarier.
Right. I imagine that makes it like harder to stand up to him. Whatever, we merge Alice. She's back. She's a little screamy.
Mayakovsky uses all of his batteries.
We learned that it is a little bit more of a process, right? Because it's not just, well, now she's good. It's like, well, she's still not
naked.
Great.
She's recovering from her niffiness.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And we get the credits, and we are the way we're gonna block this episode. We're gonna talk about Quentin and Elliot first in a block. Newly human Alice, is not talking to him other than fuck you. He leaves. Are him and Elliot in Fillory when they're talking by the fireplace?
Yeah, they're not in Fillory because he's already been banished. I have down next to
Breakbills. Yeah.
No, they are not in Breakbills either. They are at Mayakovsky's.
I think they're still at Mayakovsky's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can tell by the color grading.
So does New York.
That's true.
I see, but that's the color is what threw me off because it's not all gray. It does have the yellow tone.
Oh,
Breakbills, it's not as bright as Breakbills, but it has a yellow orangey brown to it.
really?
Instead of all
I saw the
blue.
grayish blue. And here's the other thing. Alice is hanging out at Mayakovsky's and Elliot sees her. She hasn't left there.
You're right. There you
So
go.
that's what tells us that they're there.
Because,
Yeah.
but then I don't understand why Elliot.
How Elliot knew to even go there.
Yeah.
Agree.
Oh, he
Yep.
probably talked to
Like,
Katie
went to
or
Breakbills.
Julia or
Sure,
something.
yeah, okay.
Yeah. Well, because he at the end of the previous episode, he shows up at Breakbills. So I think it's just another one of those things where they're like, yeah, the audience can fill in the blanks there.
They wrote that scene where he goes looking for Quentin, and then they were like, "No, we don't need this. We'll
Right,
just have him find him."
And I mean,
In
again, it
Ian's
doesn't really matter.
defense, I will say it was my biggest question mark with this episode. So much so that instead of writing where they were until they were in Vancouver, I just wrote Q&E because I organize everything by place. Like I'm like
Mhm.
Mayakovsky's, Fillory, Breakbills. And I have Mayakovsky ? Breakbills ? NYC ? And NYC's underlined twice because NYC also has, I'm just going to keep calling it NYC, has like a weird tint to it. But I
Yeah.
get that.
Mhm.
If he
It-
sees
it's always a
Alice,
little bit
then that
blue,
does
too.
make sense. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, that makes sense. Elliot is looking for help / the button.
You gave it to fucking Trogdor?
Which, like, it's so funny because this show is in such a, like, normally we're covering Buffy that does have a lot of dated pop culture references, but this show's, like, in a weird spot where it was 10 years ago, but most of the pop culture things are not as dated. That felt immediately that era, like...
Well, and that's early mid 2000s.
Yeah, I asked at one of the trivia nights that I host here in New York a question about in what work of fiction would you find a dragon named Trogdor, and only like 2 teams got it. So it's a niche reference, and watching it now in the year of our Lord 2025, it did feel like, wow, I haven't heard that in a while.
Mhm.
Because also sometimes then they make Game of Thrones references, and I'm like,
Mhm.
wasn't the show before? Like, for me, this feels like it was before Game of Thrones was on, but it was not. My, like, timeline of, like, the last 10, 15 years is, like, a big boosh blur. But also, y'all reminded me, they mentioned Trogdor the Burninator in the Buffy series finale.
Yes,
Andrew-
they do.
Andrew, like, name dropped
Oh.
Trogdor, so it is...
Mhm.
That's a likely thing for him to do.
It
Yes.
is, yeah. And I for sure know Tom Lenk did not know what that was because he always told me he doesn't know any of the references he made. He makes a Star Wars reference to episode 1, and he said he thought in the script it was a meta reference to episode 1 of Buffy. He did not know it was a Star Wars reference, which is like my favorite thing.
That's fucking adorable and so on brand for Tom Lenk.
Right. So Elliot's catching Quentin up on everything that's happening. It's weird because, like, the series, I think of Elliot and Quentin as so good together, but we haven't gotten them together a lot at this point in the
Right.
season. And it was nice to see
In
them
this season.
together.
Oh, yeah,
Mhm.
that moment when Quentin slinks down in his chair and then
Yeah.
Elliot,
Love
Elliot,
it.
I guess we're doing this.
We're doing this now.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's just so cute, and it's one of those moments. We talked earlier in the season about that moment when they're hugging and Elliot goes, you could also give my ass a little squeeze, or
Yeah.
however he says it. And it's just, they have these beautiful moments of like semi-flirty friendship and also just mutual understanding. Even though they come from completely different backgrounds, they are both very neurodivergent and have dealt with a lot of depression. And so it's like, Elliot has so much empathy for Quentin, probably
Yes.
more than anyone else on the show. And that's something I always really appreciate.
You're right, Mae, because it's like they vibe so well together, yet they are so completely different. Like,
Mhm.
and yet they seem to... Quentin seems comfortable with Elliot, and Elliot, it's almost like Elliot kind of understands Quentin better, and that's why he does have the empathy, because it's like he gets it, even
Mhm.
though they're so different, he just seems to get Quentin.
Yeah.
And it's like really nice, and that feels like genuine too, like the way Elliot and Margot feel like the most authentic straight girl, gay guy, best friend dynamic. This
Yeah,
feels like...
they're platonic partners.
Yeah, like, I
Yeah.
think you said this in an earlier episode, maybe, that they're like platonic soulmates, and I agree
Mhm.
with that.
I also think there's something about the way that Elliot is flirty with Quentin that, like, it feels very true to, like, that queer experience of having a good friend who you've had sex with once or twice. Yeah. And then you're just like, we got that out of the way. We're cool now. Maybe we'll make out at a party too. Mm-hmm. But like, that's all we got to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Quick side note. I occasionally wish this show was a little more racy. If it had been an HBO show, we would have actually seen that threesome between Elliot, Margot, and Quentin. And yes. I want to see that.
That would have been a hot fucking threesome to watch. Yeah. Also, I would imagine Elliot and Margot telling that boy what to do at every turn and Quentin just listening to everything they do.
Yeah, because again, Quentin is you and me.
Fair. And there's a specific thing with Quentin and Elliot too, where like, if you don't know their friends, I think, Mae, I told you this story once. When I was working out with my trainer in the morning, an older gay guy had walked by him and like pretended to like slap his ass and was like, man, you just put that ass out there. And I got very like, why is this gay guy talking to him like that? He doesn't even know. And then my trainer was laughing and they were friends. And it was like, oh, that's their dynamic. That's like they're friends. That's okay. But I thought it was just like some rando guy like making a weird passing comment about his butt. And I got like, very defensive, but like when you have that dynamic and you know each other, of course that's okay. And that's like what Elliot and Quentin have, right? Where it's like, Elliot can say, you can grab my ass while you're hugging me. And like Quentin laughs. Like it's not, it's nice.
Yeah.
And I do like that once Alice walks in, Elliot is like, and then knows he can't be mad at Quentin for bargaining the button because it's like, oh, okay, you did get her back.
Mm-hmm.
I can't be mad.
Yeah.
Oh, this is something that always kind of bugs me about this show. It's Elliot is the king of fillery and has been for like years of his time. He's never once bothered to pick up these fucking books. Every time he and Elliot are talking about them, Elliot's like, well, in book 3, all the kids do this. And Elliot's like, you dumb nerd.
I feel like
these books that save our lives all the time.
The only reason that rings true is because I do feel like Elliot's like, Margot and Quentin read them.
I guess that's fair.
Yeah.
That does feel very Ian,
like
I would be that with Kim. I'd be like, oh, Kim read it? I don't need to. Great, she'll tell me.
I feel like this has happened. I can't name a specific instance, but
right. Chris, Kim and I have been friends since she was in 8th grade. Now is in 9th grade. So it's been a long friendship.
Oh, great. Okay.
I do like that Elliot calls Mayakovsky the greatest musician on earth and like earnestly. I feel like we don't get a lot of earnest very often.
Yeah.
And that I think that's important for some reason. I don't know. It just seemed like a tiny little note, like the clock that's going to matter maybe. I don't even remember if or why it matters, but it just felt important.
It's got a portal to fillery in it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we do say that in this
episode. We do. We know that. That's established. That's established in this scene.
Right.
Yeah. And then they realize that where Quentin's interview was, that guy died. So all of his stuff got sold off. And we eventually locate the buyer.
I love.
I forget the interviewer that dies connection to any of this. That wasn't incidental, right?
Correct.
He goes to the Yale interview, but it's not really the Yale interview because the Yale interview guy dies, and then the random police officer type coroner person hands him the book of the fillery book that's never been written that he then loses in the wind and has to follow to the whatchamacallit test.
Mm-hmm. But again, that's what I mean. That guy specifically, he just happened to die.
No, he was killed by Martin, I think. The beast. I thought that was the implication. And I think he already had a connection to break bills and magic, and that's why he had the clock.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, what is it? I forget how they track down.
They
go to the auction site.
Yeah. They do some magic, but they lie to who we are about to find out is Umber about how they emailed or they looked up the auction. He's like, they don't say that on the auction site. And he's like, oh, we bribed them. So who knows if they just like used magic or if like they actually bribed them.
I like that that's very common with Elliot when they're trying to pretend, when they're like almost undercover, and Elliot's like, you know what, never mind. Here, this is what happened. Like, and he just kind of is like, let's drop
It's so
the
much
act.
easier to tell the truth in situations like that, so you don't have to keep lying yourself in circles. And it's like, okay, we're gonna need to get what we need out of this person anyway. Let's just be upfront with them about how we got here, because they will respect that more than us making up some bullshit.
I also love that we get the big welcome to Vancouver sign as if the whole show wasn't filmed there.
Well, I love the joke about what does he say? Canada was the obvious second choice
After
when they're
Fillory.
talking
to
later.
Fillory, yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
And I do like Elliot saying, "Holy shit, there are two of you."
There are
When
two
they
of
both
you?
start nerding out.
Uh,
And I love when they walk in. Elliot says, "Chew, I found Grampy's clock."
Like they're still playing along, even though they just quoted from the books, and they know obviously that they're both big nerds. It took me a while to remember that Peyton Manning looking guy was Umber in this scene, so I
Oh,
wondered
I
how
remember that. I did remember.
I
it
don't
took
know
me a
who
second.
Peyton
I was
Manning
like,
is, but
it's a former quarterback
He's a
of the Indianapolis Colts who won the Super Bowl, but he kind of looks
Kim
like
likes
this dude.
making a sports
that's
reference. May.
football, right?
Football, yeah,
It is.
good job.
It is football. He's got a brother. His name is Eli.
We don't talk
Okay.
about Eli. Eli's. I'm an Eagles fan.
All
Is
right,
Eli
anyway,
canceled? I never
Anyway.
paid attention to him. But
Don't
anyway,
personally like his face. Anyway,
This is homophobic to me and May. We have nothing to add to this.
it's homophobic
So-
not to appreciate a girl who knows her shit about sports, though, isn't it?
Hey, Kim, to be honest,
That's sexist.
it was kind of hot when you sarcastically told me I did a good job knowing it was football. So I'll take it.
All right.
Don't
Anyway.
judge her, May.
That's me not remembering that this guy was Umber, which was really fun for me for a moment. So, like, I was like, oh, yay. Like, when you know something and then you're like, I never get to not know the thing again. So, yeah.
Mhm.
Also, I liked how realistic it sounded when they're talking about the movie. When he's like, they changed the chat wins. He's like, skateboarding Americans. Like, that feels like something that would really be a change of fate.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
And then Umber slips up, says something about Jane being the Watcher Woman. And that's how
Mhm.
Quentin figures out
Okay.
that something is up.
Another question.
Mhm.
I don't understand how him saying, because I rewound it. Umber says they made Jane the Watcher Woman, and that would never happen. She's too timid.
No.
He says that in the new one she is too in the movie they made her too
that's
timid
okay,
so
to
that she
be-
could never become the Watcher Woman. Somebody who's that
okay.
timid.
I thought he was saying like Jane herself was too timid, so why would they do that in the movie? Oh, okay, that makes more
No,
sense.
just bad casting, bad script,
Yeah.
essentially.
That
So
makes sense.
yeah, they realize something's up. Elliot does his little view window
love it.
and realizes,
his
that's
director
Umber.
fingers.
Yes.
Elliot, Hale Abelman's acting when Elliot's kind of like, oh, another bad thing's happening, and he's like, he has horns. Like she's just kind of like, and his like delivery of all of it. I love all of this. I also like the way Ember and Umber look. Like I like that he looks similar but not the same. I don't know.
He's the nerd version.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's the nerdy fawn.
Yeah.
He's sort of the he's kind of an almost Twinkie older man. Whereas Ember is, very much a bear.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I feel like this one would be not into like drinking and doing drugs the way Ember is,
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
His favorite show is Law and Order. He says it's the most perfect show in existence. I don't think he would engage in any illicit activity.
Not even SVU.
And I do like when he's like, I forget what he asked them about Fillory, but like they're talking about all the reasons it's good. And Elliot at the end is like, also there's opium in the air. So
I think he just asked them what they like about Fillory.
Right. He's asking why they care about it so much. And
Yes.
I don't remember if it's Quentin or Elliot, but one of them says something about it reminds them of how they felt when they were a child.
yeah,
Quentin says that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I mean, that would make a place magical even if it wasn't actually magic, which it is. So, yeah, of course they're invested in it. Of course they care about it. They have put so much work and literal blood into their part in Fillorian history. And they've lost people to it already at this point. So, yeah, of course they're going to care deeply about it. And Umber is basically just like, well, Ember's probably going to have a toddler tantrum soon and smash it. So you may as well forget about it.
It's fun that we get that other layer of God with these two,
Mhm.
right? Because we think about like the human gods that we're dealing with in another plot line here. And these Ember and Umber just feel so much larger than those.
They do.
And
Mhm.
this scene, I think, really emphasizes the difference. It's I know we've canceled Neil Gaiman, but I can never cancel Sandman itself, and lots of people's righteously canceled Neil Gaiman. Lots of people's work went into those comics, but it feels very Sandman-like, where there's the gods that the humans mess around with, but then there's like the endless. There's like just these different levels of power.
Because Ember and Umber are, I mean, they can create whole worlds.
Right.
But also
Umber's creating Cuba.
Right.
Thusly named because it is a cube.
Cubed.
But also, I mean, I don't really remember exactly how this works, but like the wellspring is the origin of magic. So didn't they also then, like, by extension, create magic?
The wellspring is the origin of magic for lesser beings.
Oh, okay.
Not for gods and
not for
demigods.
gods. Gotcha. Okay.
That's my understanding of the show.
Chris, just so you know, Mae is the watcher of our Magicians coverage because Mae, and there's like maybe one other person that is also like on it, but Mae is the one that can explain everything, because usually it's me being like, I don't understand why this happened, but I thought it was nice.
It's called having autism. Sometimes it's helpful.
Did I tell you Sabrina what she said to me? I want to say one of our last words. She was like talking about autism, and she was like, and Ian, you have like some kind of weird version of it. I don't know what it is. I was like, all right, sure.
Yeah, I have an encyclopedic knowledge of a lot of things, and most of it is dedicated to movie and TV trivia and plot. So
because
honestly,
it's important.
Yeah,
I was
exactly.
going to say, Ian,
It's an incredible
version,
talent to have for bar trivia.
Your version helps
It's
you
true.
with how immaculately organized your action figures are.
With all my nerd shit.
Yes,
I mean,
that's true.
you just see them in the background, but like y'all, like if you were there, they are just so well organized. Even their poses.
Don't look at the couch.
What
Yeah,
couch?
that's
I can't see a couch.
You're working on the stuff over there so that they will eventually be beautiful. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, so he says it's Ember that turned Fillory into rats because he says he likes to do that sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It was
When he
something he
gets
always threatens to
snacky.
do.
Yes, that was it.
Yeah.
And I do kind of like that we're like setting up for Ember coming back, because it's like they haven't been able to find him since he took a dump in the wellspring. And they've been wanting to find him, but they don't know where the fuck he is. So we're kind of like setting it up to be like, oh, he is coming back. Like I tell Dominic Burgess all the time, but it feels like Ember always feels like he was in so much more of the show than he is. Like he's such a big presence. And when he is there, it's always fun. I don't know. Like I could have used more of him.
Yeah, I mean, Dominic is a fantastic actor and a wonderful human, which I know because he's been on the show with us.
Yeah.
And just the way he portrays Ember is so delightful. And it's really interesting to get essentially the flip side of that.
Yes.
The shy, nerdy brother who kind of refuses to take responsibility for his action and inaction. But at least assertive Quentin shows up again and makes me a little wet, and also convinces Umber to give them the clock. So now they have a permanent passage to Fillory.
I did not remember how they got the fucking clock. So I was like, well, how are they going to get it? I don't remember. And it just, Quentin says, you're giving it to me. And then he says, okay.
I'm more curious about how the fuck they get it back to Breakbills, because neither of them are travelers.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That is, I didn't think about that. They like would have to carry it literally, like.
And then
That is
there
correct.
it is back in Break Bills, and I thought the same thing, but I just let it go. You know, they're magicians. They figured it
fine.
out.
All right, we're gonna move on to Penny and Sylvia real quick. This is like such a weird blip in the episode. I did not even remember. Can someone tell me the book he's going for? I know it's for Katie, but
Oh, he's looking for a book on how to kill gods. It's like something deicide. I can't remember the exact Latin title, but it is. That's essentially what it is. But that is not the book he ends up bringing out, is it?
We don't
Oh
get
no,
there.
it is. Yeah, sorry, I confused
in the poison room
myself.
right now? Sorry,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, are we switching to Penny and?
Yeah, that's where we are. Yeah,
Okay.
We're just gonna do Penny and Sylvia.
Yeah.
Totally forgot her name.
I really like her. I didn't remember this happening so soon.
Yeah.
Almost immediately after she's introduced.
Yeah, she is very much Sarah from The Crow with her style and her attitude. I'm honestly surprised they don't have her riding around on a skateboard and eating hot dogs. But she's a great foil to Penny.
Yes.
And, you know, again, Arjun has great chemistry with everyone he's on screen with because he is that kind of actor. But they are so good together. And again, that makes me frustrated we don't get more time with them.
Yes.
And Kim and I can humble brag and attest to he is that charming in person too, right, Kim?
Right.
Agreed, yes. I feel like I had good chemistry with him, and, you know.
Went to his bar and I was like, well, he's not going to remember me. And then he hugged me hello. And I was like, oh my God, you're so charming and handsome.
Cute. Also, side note, I think I said this the last time we went to the Netherlands on an episode I was on, but it just always looks like that Oreo cereal to me. When we...
The Cheerios, like the peanut butter Cheerios is what I think it looks like.
I always think it's kind of a bunch of buttholes floating in space.
Yeah, it could be. If you're a Dropout TV fan, they have put buttholes in space.
Yeah, and even more buttholes in space.
Kim,
everywhere.
What stupid object do you think it looks like?
I have a really bad visual imagination, so I get to sit this one out because I don't even remember what it looks like.
Fair enough.
I wanted to mention Sylvia's poorly aged opinion about Kanye West.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Well, now here's the thing. Her book ended before he became a full-on Nazi. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, this doesn't age well.
Mm-hmm. But no, that's literally what I wrote down. Kanye is really misunderstood. Did not age well.
Yeah, aged poorly. But you're right. But she's in the past.
Because to Triss's defense and Sylvia's defense, I was kind of like, well, and then I was like, oh, right, because her book's over, so she would not know what happens to him unless she read his book, I guess, maybe.
I mean, we didn't know either, us Kanye defenders, or at least defenders of his first album, but here we are knowing.
Fair. Penny is it the previous episode where he's trying to figure out Zelda's name?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's in the previous episode. In this one, Penny and Katie have been having, what do they call it? Insection.
They have a couple of names for it, but
So they've been doing that, and Sylvia essentially follows Penny into Katie's brain.
I do love that.
And it's so fucking funny. And she's like, I've been here for 20 minutes. I heard everything you were saying. Break into the poison room with me. I want to get in there too.
But also, if I were a horny teenager, I would also be like, wow, those two people are really hot. And I get to, be in this weird dream they're having. All right. I mean, right? Wouldn't you also be like, holy shit?
We'd never know whether the library has access to porn.
Oh.
Because sometimes it's like, oh, that's in a different location.
Cheerio.
So maybe there's a porn.
Oh yeah, there's definitely
an adult section.
Yeah.
It's not the same as watching it.
Right. Oh my God, can you imagine? Well, because we know books have personalities. Can you imagine what it's like in that section? Those books are all trying to fuck each other all the time.
In lots of different ways that some of them don't like.
I'm flashing back to Elliot's "Love Wins" when the books are fucking.
Yes. I feel like they have to put like chastity cages on all of the porn books.
But then is that a kink? Because then maybe they're into it.
Exactly. That's
lose.
Man.
So we get a lot of really weird, important question mark information in this scene in the hinterland.
So much.
And I was like, I was like, why is my section so long in my notes here? But when she's talking about Kanye's book, which I brought up as a joke, she talks about how all of the books have 20 blank pages in them. And how she knows this because the cataclysm happened soon. And she knows it because she saw them reshelve something with time. She shelved Penny's book 39 times so it can change. They don't have to remain blank. And it happened so fast. And I was just scribble. But like, I'm like, oh, that seems really important. And like, we need to let people know that as soon as possible. Hopefully nobody dies in this poison room we're about to go into.
Wouldn't that be a shame?
I wrote down, there's a reason it's called the poison room, you idiots. The fact that they do not do any kind of protection or magical enchantment upon themselves before they go into the poison room is like, come on, Penny, you know better than this.
How do people put books in the poison room?
I assume the librarians have a procedure for
some sort of
inoculating themselves.
Some sort of magical hazmat suit.
Yeah, exactly. Because the poison room is essentially irradiated. It's that kind of poison. It's not
Sylvia
like a gas
knows this. She just doesn't tell him. Or she knows that she can't survive it. I mean, and he literally asks, when they named it the poison room, how literal do you think they were being? And she's like, let's just get in there and get out of there real fast.
Yeah.
Well, she doesn't know that she dies in there until she gets in there, because that's where she finds her book.
Because her book is in there.
Right.
Got it.
You know, she references Terminator 2 and Sarah Connor saying there's no fate but what we make. And the irony of this is that she does make her own fate by going in the poison room. Like, she did not need to die. That was a decision that she made to go in there to find her book. And then she reads her book, finds out that's how she dies. And at that point, you got to just throw your hands up and go, well, I fucked myself here. As she says in the film Possession, I am the maker of my own evil.
So the book stuff that you mentioned, Kim, I was like, wow, we just got a lot and I'm not sure. Like, because the books are very important for like most of the series, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They also, hopefully this isn't too much of a spoiler, they don't really explain what that gap actually is.
Okay, I was going to say, I don't remember, like, when she said that, I did not recall that at all. I don't know. Because even when she says it, when she's like, there's no space, I was like, all right, but like, does that always mean that? Like, I don't understand, like...
Essentially, if you are alive and you are going to remain alive as the Great Cataclysm happens, there are 20 blank pages at the end of your book.
Yes.
And
the implication is that something is going to happen in that time, and some sort of magic has erased everybody's the end 20 pages of everybody's book, which is basically, I think, supposed to be the world ending.
Right. And because these are enchanted books, it's possible that if something changes, that section of their books, if it does get filled in, can move to be linearly where it should be in their books. But we don't really know yet at this point.
I feel like we might find out more in the next episode. They just will never point to this moment to explain it.
Yeah.
That's my guess.
Anyway, he starts to get like boils on him, finds the book he needs. He's like, we gotta go. She's dying. And she's like, if you carry me, you're gonna die too. So just go without me. It's a bummer. This show, it does a little bit bother me that we get like they're such good writers that I feel like they'll introduce a character for like 1 or 2 episodes and then kill them immediately. And I do wish that didn't happen so often, where it's like a character pops in for 2 episodes, they die. We maybe go back to them 2 seasons later in 1 episode where I've already forgotten about them.
In this episode, 2 characters. That happens to 2 characters.
Yes.
Yes.
So let's go to filler. Oh, so he gets the book, he teleports out and passes out in front of Katie.
And says, "I got your
story.
book."
Let's go to fillery.
I love this part.
King
yes.
Josh,
Stoner
literally.
King Josh.
It's God. I love the way he says, "Is anything not fucked?" So fucking good.
Yeah, I love the way they put Josh in here, and I love that it's like he's kind of like, what the fuck, like
Hakuna Matata.
sure.
I love that his first act as king is to get super baked with all of his advisors. The part where they're all just like dancing together, especially Tick.
Yeah.
When he slaps Tick on the butt, it's
Oh my God, it's so cute.
yeah.
And he breaks the chairs. So smart.
Yes.
I don't know why they haven't done that yet.
But there's always one person who has that out of left field idea. And sometimes it takes a combination of people. But in this case, Josh is like, oh, the
And
thrones are cursed.
marijuana.
Let's just fucking trash them. And then and get really fucking blazed.
And also get a better throne.
Yeah.
And sign
His new
lots of
throne
decrees,
rules.
giving braces to the ducks or whatever it was.
The beavers,
Beavers.
beavers get dental insurance, basically.
Does Hillary have a better healthcare system than we do?
I thought you said Hillary, not Fillery.
I might have by accident, but I meant Hillary.
I didn't even realize that he broke the thrones.
When they're all high.
He's burning them later on.
Oh, I do remember the fire. I like that he's
And
like,
then they roast that pig over it.
he talks about, there's a Earth ruler with Hakuna Matata as their phrase.
And then later he says, Hakuna Matata has failed me.
Yes.
So good.
He says, "Is anything not fucked?" That could have been your thing,
Yeah.
Mae, that you usually do instead of the one drugs. That would have been just as good.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I like the drugs
I
one
said
better.
that, and that was almost my nickname for the episode.
I do love that then he like falls asleep stoned and wakes up to like a ghost vision of Margot yelling at him. And she's like, "Why the fuck are you napping and not looking for me?"
Never let an amateur pack your bong, and
Nope.
I can attest to that. I ended a relationship with one of my partners on Friday, and she smoked so much weed, but she didn't have a grinder. So she would just like sort of mush it up in her fingers and pack it into her bong. And I was like, you're wasting a lot of weed because it's not oxidizing properly as it burns.
I recently got like a Pampered Chef weed grinder where it's like I press a button and it grinds it. It makes such a fucking mess and gets like so clogged that I'm like, this feels like worse than a regular grinder.
And I'll send you a link to the grinder I have. It is fantastic and it's really cute and witchy.
Right,
That's why I simply just do edibles.
Margot says, "Listen, dipshit, you need to find Rafe, the squirrely fuck who works with the sloth," which like is so Gale Weathers of her. Like, I'm like, man, all the like ladies I love in fiction really are a lot alike. Because like Gale Weathers says dipshit all the time, and she delivers it the way Gale Weathers delivers it. It's so good. And I love when he's like, "You could say please," and she says, I literally
cannot. Yeah.
It's the best Margot.
I think that's my
moment of
favorite
the
Margot
episode.
line of. I mean,
Yeah.
she's also
Yes.
barely in this episode, but it's my favorite Margot line of the episode.
Yeah,
yeah.
she's so
What Chris
good.
said.
I just love her being like, "No, I'm not going to say please. Fucking do it. Like, you have to save me," because he does.
Well, she says it like it would. Like it would actually hurt her to do so.
Yes.
Yes.
And because I think
Her
it kind of
delivery
would.
is impeccable.
Yeah.
And also, I like that this is the guy that just last episode she was saying she wanted to fuck him. So it's like,
I still think that's Margot's love language. I think that she might still fuck him.
oh, absolutely.
And she'll just yell at him the whole time.
That is her love line. That is, I feel like that's how she talks to people. Like, because I say like dickhead and asshole a lot to people I love. And like, sometimes it takes people a minute to like realize that.
The first time I listened to Slayerfest and I heard you do that, I was like, oh, I want to be friends with Ian. I love being called bitch as a term of affection, honestly.
Kim is the only one of my closest friend that does not get that, because Kim does not like that. But every other one of my friends does get that.
See, and that's a sign of good friendship because you understand boundaries.
Yeah. In comes Prince S. Ready to do a murder immediately. Josh is even like, listen, your dad's a rat, but, and then oops, they killed the guards.
Yeah, I also am confused about why he doesn't even entertain that idea for a second. Right. Because it's like, you're in a fucking magical kingdom. You know magic is back now because it's being split 50-50 between Fillory and Loria.
Yes.
You're not even going to go, oh, let me look into that. You're just going to be like, I'm going to fucking kill your guards and then kill you.
I get the sense that Princess is just kind of a power-hungry asshole.
Yeah. I mean, he did go to, what theater school was it? He went to some kind of theater school.
I think he went to Exeter?
Yes, that's what it is.
God, how did you remember that?
I have a broken brain.
He does like a weed spell, I guess, to make all the weed spell.
It's Josh's classic.
Yeah. The man knows how to combine drugs and magic.
He does.
And food.
Yes, and food.
And then he sees the fairy realm vision of Fen being carried off by guards, and she's like, come save me. And he's like, okay. And takes the potion so he can travel to the fairy realm.
And says to Tick, tell my story, which I love.
Yes, it's so good. But I love that is so indicative of Josh's character, where he's like, well, Margot told me to do this, and I'm going to see what I can do. And then as soon as he sees someone in imminent danger, he's like, okay, fuck it, I'm going.
Yeah, Margot can take care of herself.
Correct.
Yeah. So that is the end of Fillory. Let's go to Julia, Katie, and the Senator. This is a lot, but this is maybe the most I've loved a Julia storyline in an episode. She goes, they're in the physical kids college. Julia updates Katie on everything, and Katie's like, okay, well, we'll try, but also I need your help too, because the Senator is there.
Right. Yeah, sure. I'll be your missing chip, I guess.
I don't know. I don't understand that line very much.
I don't know if it's relating to like a 12-step program and having a sponsor.
Oh, that's what I thought it was. Yeah.
That's how I interpreted it.
I thought it was like there's a piece of wiring gone in my brain now, and I need you to fill in that empty spots. Like I took it as computer chip.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that better. Thank you.
And she needs someone who has a shade around to help her make better decisions.
All right.
Which plays in just about a second when she's like, all right, well, we're just going to kill John. And Katie has to go to like, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah. So they have that talk with the Senator.
Yeah.
After this talk, he goes back to his office, and Reynard is there with his fucking wife's ear in a like jewelry box. I kind of feel bad for the Senator. It's like he really didn't know what he had all these powers. He finds it out, and his world collapses immediately.
And he genuinely wanted to do good.
Yeah, which is rare for a politician.
Yeah,
especially when the father is offering him like power. That
like unlimited power. Yeah. It's kind of like, spoilers for Empire Strikes Back, but it's kind of like Darth Vader being like, hey, Luke, I'm your father. Come join me on the dark side. And Luke's like, no, fuck you, Dad.
Yeah. Senator goes back to the physical kids' cottage, and
I think the most important thing, though, that happens in DC is that Reynard tells the politician, John, his name is correct, Reynard tells John that he infected Julia, right? And that there's something wrong with Julia. He
He put a
Fucked
black
up
stain on her
Julia
soul, and she
forever, yeah.
scrubbed at it so hard that she wore a hole in it.
Mhm.
Yes, I thought that was
Which I
such
think is a very powerful line.
Yeah, and I don't think that this is. I think Julia can get out of this, and John believes that she can get out of this, and it's really important to me that when we go to the next scene back at the Breakbills cottage, and they're hatching their plan to catch Reynard, and the politician shows up, before he talks to Katie, which we'll get to in a second, he tells Julia what Reynard said and says, "But I don't think that's true. I just think that
And
that's
he like,
Julia,
yeah,
he really like he needed to tell her, and she needed to hear it."
yeah, he like tells her like, don't let it be true.
Yeah.
Which I do really appreciate the fact that he's like, I don't want that to happen to you. And I hate that he minds controlled Katie, but I do like that at the very least, he's like, Julia has been through so much. I cannot have her be the one to also take on this trauma.
Mhm.
Also, I have to. I've never been mind controlled into killing somebody, but I have to imagine that it's slightly less traumatic than if I actually killed somebody, because I'm not doing it. Like, I still would have that painful memory of seeing it happen. But
I mean, she still did it with her own
Yeah.
hands, even if it was against her own volition.
yeah, that's true.
So I feel like living with the guilt of that would be really difficult, because you would constantly be like, why wasn't I strong enough to stop myself from doing
Sure,
this?
that's true.
Speaking
demigod.
as someone who's been in multiple abusive relationships where I often felt like I was being controlled. Ugh. Anyway, yeah,
Fair.
fucking poor Katie. I mean, just this woman has been through a lot, and I just want the best for her. Ian, I know you're not the biggest Katie fan as a character,
But I still agree with that. Like,
and I do love her as a character, and I find her extremely. I like spending time with her, even when she's in a rough place. I find her very compelling, and so this just breaks my fucking heart.
yeah.
And a quick side note: can people just walk into the physical kids' cottage now? They don't have to do some ridiculous bullshit to get in, because the senator just walks in.
In the
couple
last
times.
episode, Reynard broke their barrier, and I don't know if they fixed it again.
Mm,
Oh, I thought that was just for the wards around Breakbills itself.
I don't know.
Well, either way, I guess it's easier for people to get in there now, which is nice.
and Julia comes back with pizza, and man, she's like, oh, I don't know what you wanted. Oh, blah, 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 I got. And then looks up and sees like Katie coated in blood coming down.
Mhm.
I was confused because I thought there was a way that's why they didn't kill him, because there was a way to do whatever they needed to do without killing him.
Julia wanted to teach him magic, but he wasn't learning it fast enough.
Correct,
Okay.
because he's not a magician. He's a demigod, so he has the power, but he has none of the discipline, none of the focus, and none of the innate talent. Well, I don't know. I personally think talent is... Yeah. Anyway.
To put it in D&D terms, he's a sorcerer and not a wizard.
Correct. Yes.
I would have said I don't know the difference between those two if you hadn't told me there was a difference. But so basically they like have turned him into, they turned the whatever they got into like a bullet.
They turned it into a battery
one
first.
bullet.
Yeah, they turn it into a battery similar to what Mayakovsky was doing, and then they transfer that energy into a magic bullet, which, by the way, the design on that bullet is so beautiful.
It is really cool. I had a small problem with this. Now, obviously, they didn't know that spell at the time, but they used up all of Mayakovsky's batteries, which were substantially bigger than this one little like marble that they seem to have gotten out of John. And so, like, would that magic not have been enough to make this bullet? Because they give a whole speech about like the sanctity of life and whatever to get Mayakovsky to use up all of his batteries to save Alice. But then somebody still ends up dying. John still ends up dying for this, and maybe he didn't need to. I guess I don't really know how the batteries work. Maybe size isn't indicative of how much power is inside of them.
I would say that because he is a demigod.
And Mayakovsky was using other things to charge these batteries, essentially dispelling the magic in objects that had retained it from spells. That's very different than a demigod's energy. I don't necessarily think it's about the size of the battery, like you said, Kim. I think it's about what you're doing with it.
All right, that's fair.
I think one of the things that we were talking about this a little at the beginning, but I think it all kind of comes into play as the scene gets to a head in a moment where they wind up in that field where they have done all of these things to prevent the bad things from happening, but then the bad things just keep happening and the things that they've done are like sort of useless. Like they didn't want to have to take, Katie suggested or Julia suggested in the beginning, they just kill the senator and then he winds up
Penny's
killing himself
poisoned
to make the bullet. Yeah, and then where they were going to find a different way. And then Penny goes to the poison room to find the book, which is to kill a god, which now they're about to not need anyway. They have the bullet, and then something else is about to happen, which we're going to talk about in this episode. But it's like all these things happen, and it sets all these things in motion that in the end just don't really seem to, like the fact that they put all that energy in that magic bullet, like that was made from a god. Like, great, now we have this bullet, and it doesn't even matter. We have this book, and it doesn't even matter.
So they go to the barn.
And storms a brewing.
I do have one question, because maybe I'm just confusing. Was there something like I feel like there was like a mention of a barn door or something previously where they like talked about something with a, maybe not.
Not that I remember.
I'm confusing something with something else. Then.
I think that maybe is later in the show, from what I'm remembering.
Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, they lure Renard there by making him think that Our Lady of the Underground, aka Persephone, Queen of Hell, is coming.
AKA Garcelle from Real Housewives.
But yeah,
that's funny.
Renard shows up and Julia's about to shoot him when Our Lady of the Underground shows up and freezes time.
I really love this scene. Like I really love, like it like made me emotional. I feel like it touches on everything that I get mad about religion for when they're like, well, I just prayed to God. And it's like, well, nothing fucking happened. What do you mean? Like, I love that we addressed that this God literally did nothing and she did not help. She knew what happened. And
she was just letting her evil son roam around raping and murdering people.
And they give no explanation for why she disappeared.
Yeah, right. I think we find out later, but I can't remember.
I read the Wikipedia because I was for Persephone because I didn't remember getting an explanation later on, but I wanted to double check, and I didn't see anything in there.
Interesting.
I know what you're saying, Ian. I feel like this scene is a little bit anticlimactic for this big battle with Reynard. Because first off, she's going to shoot him, which is like, sort of the least interesting fight that we've had in this show in a long time.
And I feel like it harkens back to the end of season 6 of Buffy.
Yes, very much. But also they're just like, they're in this very sort of nondescript barn, and it doesn't feel like a big fight with Reynard. And I wish it was a little bit more exciting, I guess.
I kind of like this scene a lot, though. I like that it slows everything down. We get the weather that's all nice. The colors change. It's all nice. The person that she'd originally been trying to call finally shows up. It's the first moment that she sees her, even though the action of the scene is boring in comparison with a lot of other action. I think the emotion and the cinematography of the scene just do so much work. And Julia has had so much trauma and so much inability to make her own choices. And with what John told her before about what Reynard said about her, and then with Persephone being like, your choice, like here's my very small reason, he's my son, period, right? Like I'd prefer you not kill him, but I'm going to give you the choice. And she very quickly makes that choice, and she doesn't have a shade, and she chooses not to. And that is just I wish she would have taken a beat almost to think about it. But I do kind of like that, she just knew, like, no, no, I'm not gonna further perpetuate my trauma by killing this person, even though that was all I wanted to do.
I think what convinces Julia of that is when Persephone says, "You're a survivor." And that made me cry a little bit as a survivor myself. It's a really powerful reframing from victim to survivor.
And
absolutely.
And I really, especially the fact that she says, "You're still capable of mercy." Like, I thought that was like a really important, because, like, yeah, fucking of course she wants revenge. That makes sense. That's not like illogical. But like, this goddess that she had prayed to, that she wanted to help her, who fucking left her, is now like, no, you are better than this. Like, I don't want you to have to like kill someone to whatever. And I don't know. A thing I also really appreciate, again, and like, Mae, you and I are like this, where we're like very frank about shit that's happened to us. And like, I like that when like Julia yells at her, "I was raped and I lost my shade in the abortion." Like, we're not dancing around what happened. We're just, and Julia also understandably is fucking pissed at Persephone because she did nothing and she let her son do this. That's the part that made me cry when Julia like yells it. Yeah, I don't know. I think Stella, the actress, for me, like, exudes a very specific kind of warmth, and I always wanted Julia to catch a break. And I just like that she gets to make the decision and that she is rewarded for once in the fucking series. Like, this is like the first time in 2 seasons she's gotten something good, and it's just getting back what she lost. It's not like she's being elevated. It's like, we're just back to where we were at the beginning of this season, which is a little better than where we were, an episode ago.
Right.
It does suck that it makes Katie mad at her again for the second time in the same episode. I felt really bad for Julia about that. Like, her one friend now basically is.
I also kind of understood. I like hated that it happened, but I did understand why Katie was like,
"Sure,
what the fuck?" Like, I had to murder someone. What are you talking about? We're not, because I would absolutely.
And the man that I love is dying now.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I absolutely would have been also pissed if I were Katie. I almost wish she had gotten to be there when the shade came up, because I feel like that would have lightened her a little bit.
Yeah.
There are also in the moment feelings, and then, you know, you give it a second, you talk to somebody, and then you have your, bigger, broader feelings. So I feel like that is 100% understandable in the moment feeling. And, what happens with their friendship next, that's broader, that's bigger, like that'll show like how truly much they're going to understand each other or not.
Yeah, and when her little shade enters and says, "Our Lady sent me," that made me really emotional. I was like, "Oh, Julia, you deserve this." Like, God.
Well, and honestly, having gone through some intense trauma in the last couple of years, I can say that sometimes that is kind of what happens. You end up either completely in emotion mind. I'm coming from a DBT stance here, where you've got emotion mind and logic mind, and in the middle is wise mind. When you go through trauma, often many people go to one of those extremes. I normally go all the way to emotion mind, but there have been a few times in the last couple of years where uncharacteristically I have gone all the way to logic mind. And without her shade, that's essentially where Julia is. She's able to rationalize every single one of her actions, regardless of the harm that it might cause. And the catharsis mixed with devastation that you feel when your emotions come back. So in this case, Julia's shade reuniting with her it's almost indescribable, because it feels like you've been in a fugue state, but you're aware of everything you've done. You just haven't been able to feel it. And then all of a sudden you're feeling all of that. All of those backed up emotions hit you all at once. And that's kind of what Julia is going through here, and we don't really see the after effect of it, because we leave her after Katie is like, "Fuck you, dude." but I feel like it's a really accurate portrayal, as often it is on this show, of trauma and its various effects. So
Yeah,
I really appreciate that. As always, I appreciate the way this show handles things most of the time.
Yeah. And I am rarely ever not clocked out if there's like a rape storyline. But I weirdly, even though it is pretty like graphic, I do think we were in good hands with the story almost.
Yeah, for sure. I think we've talked about this before. My issue is when they keep showing it in the previously on rather than just having someone mention it.
Yeah.
Like, you can mention it without showing us over and over again. The re-traumatization there is a little rough.
Yeah. So that's where we end on Julia's story. Now we're gonna quickly touch upon Alice is with Mayakovsky.
Adderall to fortify you.
That was a good impression. They're both like miserable and it's all gray. She says she hates being back in her oily cage. Mayakovsky says drugs are fun. He's not wrong.
He is not.
As Josh shows us.
And sometimes they can save the day, as Josh shows us.
It's true.
Weed often saves the day for me. Saves most days.
Mushrooms saved my life, man.
Quentin enters. I do like this. He apologizes for hurting her. He says he was trying to do the right thing, but he's not sorry she's alive. And I do really, I almost wish the Scoobies had given Buffy this kind of talk in season 6. Like,
yes,
to be like, I am sorry that I put you through, any kind of bullshit. I am sorry. I was trying to do the right thing, but also I am so happy to have you. Like, I love you. You're alive again, and I can't be upset about that. And I was like, man, I feel like Willow could have given Buffy this talk, like that. It would have made sense for Willow to be the emotionally mature one, to like sit down with her and give her that. I mean, she's dealing with her own shit then later, so I guess not, but I kept relating it to that. How I was like, this is a nice conversation, even though Alice is still like getting her niffiness out and she's still not quite there. I mean, he has it right before she even is back to like fully Alice. Like, he's still already ready to be like, I am sorry, but also I'm not sorry you're here. Yeah. And I don't know. I think that's really nice.
I like the parallel between what Mayakovsky says to her and then what Quentin says to her. So he says that magic is what makes the world a little bit better, which for all of his big bolstering talk about how he wasn't going to use his batteries, and then they're like, to save a life, like, what is it even for then? The fact that he says that feels important. And then Quentin says, the world's a better place when you're in it. And I feel like there's a nice, it's not an exact parallel, but there's an intersection between those two things being said that felt important for Alice to hear specifically.
That part where Mayakovsky was saying that was this, I think, a really great moment of humanization for him, because he's been such an asshole for this entire series. And when that moment happens, it's this, he's an asshole, but he does still care about humanity. And I think that that's part of great writing, is that, like, characters can contain multitudes.
No, I agree. I really like it. I mean, she doesn't really say anything, right?
I think she basically just glowers at him.
Yeah. Then he goes to see Elliot. They talk about plans and they take a long look at that clock.
And that's where we end, on a cliffhanger. I know it's your favorite thing, Ian.
I don't mind a cliffhanger if it's like not the end of the season. I don't mind it if it's like, well, next episode we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Favorite outfit, now that we're at the end. Kim, favorite outfit?
But the Penny, we usually see Penny in, like, it's always Penny or Margot for me. We usually see Penny in like summer clothes, but when he had to go to the poison room, he had like winter clothes on, and I was like, you even look good in winter clothes.
Yeah, that long kind of flowy jacket that he's wearing, and of course he has a matching scarf with it.
Mae?
I can't remember if she was wearing it in the previous episode when she got blipped to the fairy realm, but when she was. Okay. Yeah, Margot's red kind of silky outfit with the braided gold cord. it looks incredible on her. So even though we saw it in the previous episode, it's my favorite look in this episode, with an honorable mention for Josh. Josh always looks like just a guy, but he looks so
Just a
cute
guy.
with the crown on and his little like folded robe type thing. I don't really know what to call it, but he looks good.
On the last episode of Slayerfest that I was listening to, I think somebody describes Margot's outfit as that Chanel dress that Mark
Yes.
Simpson keeps redoing. And I thought that was very apt.
I forget. You're right. Someone did say that. I forget who says it.
Yeah.
Chris, what was your favorite outfit?
My favorite outfit was Josh, but specifically Stoned King Josh after he's covered in blood, but it's still all sparkly.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks really cool, but also a little bit silly, which is, sort of my aesthetic. He just looks like such a comfy king. I don't know. I love it.
I liked it that sounds like, someone calling someone a king online, but literally he is comfy and he is also at this moment a king.
Yeah.
I like Julia in that long jacket with the like feathers on it.
Mm-hmm.
Kim, I feel like when we were in high school, people wore jackets like that. Like Robin
Yes,
Miller
me.
had that jacket. And
I feel like I had
Robin.
Like two different versions. Mine were gray. I had a gray jacket with the floof and then a brown jacket with the floof. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
was always a fan.
Weirdly,
Thanks.
as someone who does not wear neutral colors very often, I had a beige coat like that that I bought from Wet Seal that I wore in like junior high and high school. I fucking loved that thing.
How was that?
It made me look so femme.
I was at my wax appointment the other day, and I was talking to the waxing lady about Joyce Leslie, which I don't know if that was a store anywhere besides New Jersey, but she was like, "You went way back." I was like, "I know, I bought like all my clothes from there." Yeah. Anyway, that Wet Seal reminds me of Joyce Leslie. Like, same thing.
Favorite scene, Mae?
I like when Elliot and Quentin are together in any of the scenes, but I especially like when they are talking with Umber and they're holding their ground so firmly. They're really coming at this as a team and they're really trying to do the right thing. And I love any time we get the two of them together.
Yeah. Chris?
It's also an Elliot and Quentin scene. It's a small moment, but it's that moment when Quentin slumps down on the couch and Elliot goes, "All right, I guess we're both doing this now."
So
and
cute.
He slumps down in the couch too, because they're bummed for different reasons. But it was just another example of them having really good chemistry. Yeah.
Kim?
I'm excited for us to have 4 different favorite scenes because mine is when Josh gets everyone high, all the advisors, and they have like the montage of them like doing all that stuff. Like that was it was so good. And I know that's not Ian, so.
No, mine is the Julia and Our Lady Underground. I love it so much.
That's what I thought.
Closely followed by Chris's favorite, because I do love Elliot and Quentin together. What grade do we give this episode, Professor Southwick?
I feel like every time I grade a Magicians episode, I grade it too high, but this time I'm going to give this a B+. I feel like we jumped all over the place. We did so much important work, but we made it unclear about what, not us, but the writers maybe made what was important a little less clear. So everything that was important should be up here and the unimportant things should be clearly down here. And they were just a little too close together. Like, how important is this catastrophic event? How important is it that Ember and Umber are these other level gods? Like, everything was a little too even for me, but I still love the show so much and just love everything it does. And there were so many good, crucial things at the end with Julia. Sorry, my explanation is so long. And she finally gets like a break. God, and all I want is a fucking break. So I'm not going to do it too low because of that even odd thing with the ups and the downs and the what's important. Because so B+.
Chris?
I'm going to go just a little bit lower and give it a B. I think that the character writing was really strong, was especially strong in this episode. But I felt I didn't like how choppy it was. It felt there's a couple episodes this season where they're just like, all of a sudden it's 4 months later and Quentin has a job now. And you're like, oh, I don't remember that happening, but okay, sure. I guess it did. And there were a couple of moments of that in this season where it's just sort of jumping around a little bit more than I would like it to. I would like them to hold my hand just a smidge more. But otherwise, I think it's a really strong episode.
Mae?
I completely agree with everything both of you just said, and I am also going to go with a B+. I think the powerful emotional beats in this episode mostly make up for it jumping around a little more than I'd like. And, you know, I'm a very emotional person. I can deal with a little chaotic storytelling if it gets the characters I care about so much to important places. And I feel like this episode does that, albeit in a slightly haphazard way.
I'm coming in with the lowest grade with a C+.
Hey, at least you didn't give it a D. Didn't you give an episode a D+ earlier this season or something? I was just like, Ian, come on.
We have to be able to criticize the things that we still love.
I love the show so much, true. But everything y'all said as like criticism is what bothered me, because I do think the character beats are good, but we don't sit in them long enough for me. Like they kind of get lost. Like we're just like, oh, this is a nice moment. Well, we're moving on to the next moment, and there's so much going. There's like too much all at once, and things that are so important that feel like we needed to spend a little bit more time with. So that's why I give it a C+. Again, still love all the characters in the show. Thank you to 3 of you for joining me. Thank you to everybody for listening. If you liked Slayerfest 98, you can find us on all podcasting platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else you get your podcasts. You can watch our video recordings, because every episode is a video recording now on our YouTube.
And we're all cute.
Yes, and everyone's hot, so watch us. On our YouTube channel, give us a good rating and review, please. It helps the podcast. If you want to support us, we are on Patreon, going through every season of Buffy as it turns 25. X-Men the Animated Series, Batman the Animated Series, and a bunch of random stuff. Just put out an episode on Andor. And if you want to follow us on social, we are at SlayerFestX98. If you want to follow me, I am at IanXCarlos on all social media platforms. Chris, where can everyone find you?
You can find me at Lighter Fandango on Blue Sky. That's Lighther Fandango. If you just start typing that, you'll find it. And then you can also find my rarely updated trivia quiz Instagram account at QuizDaddyChris.
Promote your podcast too.
Oh yeah, also I have a podcast. It's called We Read Movies. You can find it wherever podcasts are bought, sold, or bartered.
Chris, I did not know your last name for a while, and I forget we have a mutual friend that was like, oh, Chris says hi, and I was like, you need to be a little bit more specific. And they said your last name, and I was like, I'm not sure I know who that is. And then they told me your handle, and I was like, oh, no, yes, I do know who that is. I just didn't know what your last name was. And I think that's funny when they were like, Chris says hi. And I'm like, I know a lot of Chris's.
I mean, there are plenty of people on Blue Sky who don't know my first name.
I have that issue. There is a friend that, this will come out way after. There's a friend that like, we're friendly on social. And I've just realized the other day, I was like, this person, like, we talk a lot. I don't know what their first name is. Like,
oh yeah, I have a lot of internet friends like that. I have someone I have been chatting with almost every day for a while, and I wanted to send him a picture. I was sending him download codes that have come with records I bought recently. I was like, oh, I can't send them on here. Are you okay if I text you? And he sent me his phone number. I was like, what's your first name?
I have the opposite story of that, which is one time I asked someone, I'm like, oh, hey, I don't even know your name. And they were like, yup. I was like, oh, okay.
That is a baller move, and I'm definitely doing that soon.
God. Kim, where can everyone find you?
I'm at Kim and Joe South on Blue Sky and KimberlyAnnSouthwick.com if you want to look at poetry stuff.
And Mae?
You can find me on Blue Sky and Letterboxd at Everson Poe. That's EversonPoe. You can find my music on Bandcamp and streaming services as Everson Poe. You can hear me on Tender Subject, talking about body horror and cannibalism. And you can hear me on my recently launched podcast, Pleasers and Punishers, where we look at movies that are crowd pleasers, movies that make your friends mad at you, and all things kinky and queer. And you can find those socials. We are Pleasers, Punishers, Wait, hold on. I had it up a second ago. Sorry. We are Pleasers, Punishers on Blue Sky, and we are Pleasers and Punishers on Instagram. Unfortunately, we could not do the same handle for both of them, and I didn't want to be PPP for Pleasers Punishers podcast. But yeah, I'm very excited. I have my own podcast again. It's really fun.
Yay.
I'm going to get you on there for something, Ian, because I think it'll be really fun. And I just, I love podcasting. This is really what I do. I watch movies and TV shows and I podcast, and I'm very thankful that I get to do that. So
I sometimes I watch something and I'm like, oh, I don't have to take notes. I'm used to doing that, watching things I like. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you all for listening. We have one more episode of this season, and then we're finished Magicians season 2. See you all next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.